Hey, Tracy Sims here with a message for all of you Grace Group facilitators. About 2 weeks ago, we got together for a breakfast that was catered by the Glenwood Restaurant. We had some great breakfast burritos, pancakes, and things like that. And had a good time together. So if you were unable to make that, there's some news that I will pass on via this video to you. And if you were there, hopefully this will be a couple reminders for what we talked about and some of the goals we have for the next 6 months. First of all, we're not going to mention names of those who weren't there, but we might mention initials. Okay. Moving on. We started out with a fun story that I used from the Lark News. And if you really want to read it, I'm going to show you how to get to it because I think it's really funny. The Lark News, your true source for information. After that, we talked a little bit about how best to use the Grace Group questions. And we talked about different strategies to use with your groups and how members may or may not respond. So if you have any questions about that and you weren't there, I'd be happy to tell you some of the things we're trying to do with those questions and some things that have worked and some things that have not worked. We also are encouraging people to develop some other leadership in the group over the next 6 months. So that might look like asking other people in the group to lead once or twice. Maybe once a month you pick somebody different to lead the conversation and the discussion over the next 6 months, so you take turns letting other people develop their skills. I highly encourage that because I think that will help us develop leadership across Grace. And then, of course, if you're not there as the facilitator, somebody else feels more comfortable to step in and lead the discussion. And we also broke up into small groups and talked about things that were going well and things that were not going well, which I help think made people realize they're not out there all by themselves leading their groups. And then we ended up with a great role play, and the video of this doesn't quite capture everything, but I'm going to try to include one part from Doug Freeman that just is purely Doug. So here it is.
That's great. Doug, you got
I don't like to talk that much. I like to listen. But she brought a family, and it's a hard one to put into context for us because we're kind of fragmented and in business. I've got family members, and when we ever want to go on a vacation, it's hard to bust away from just thinking about vacation and thinking about business and thinking about all the problems. We never can relax together, I don't know if you have that problem. And then when the business started to go down with the recession, and this is the recession in '81, we fell into a legal conflicts. And I don't know, have you ever had depositions or ever had to face legal matters or whatnot? I can make a short story longer, but as it turns out, it didn't go well. And a number of the family members fragmented from the whole thing. We don't vacation anymore together. In fact, my wife and I like to take separate vacations, and it works out quite well. And it's cheaper too. You've been there, okay. And an odd thing about fellowship, you can share some of these things. I won't leave here. Probably won't leave here, and I pray that it won't. Even one of the lawyers I faced in deposition goes to this church right now, which is, I thought, kind of interesting. I never thought a lawyer would be, a Christian. And his banker is part of this fellowship too. It's a weird circle, how life comes. I don't know if you felt this, but I'm trying to make the story as short as possible. And then, but what brought us back together was getting 2 new dachshunds. Anybody have dachshunds here? That really gelled our family.
I've wanted dachshunds. Never had
Yeah, and we have a 2-story house, so you have to watch them going up and down the stairs, kind of deal with that. There's a lot of cool things that you can share about. I appreciate it.
Sorry to hear about What's happening in your family?
Oh, yeah, they're okay. The business sucks, but the dachshunds are fine. Not really, but I appreciate sharing.
Yeah.
But I got more to tell you.
Okay, Doug and his 2 chihuahuas, I tell you. Anyways, great thanks to Alan Taransky for leading that group of misfits or people who agreed to lead and participate by doing what I told them to. I think it allowed us all to talk about how do we know each members of our group? Do we know what their passions are, and do they like to talk? Do they not like to talk? It's a good reminder to try to get to know your group and try to get to know each member and how best you can allow them to participate and become a part of the group. And then we left our time with a challenge that over the next 6 months, I want you to ask your group and lead your group, and how can your group best seek God? How can your group best seek God over the next 6 months? And it's probably going to look different for each group, but I really challenge you to try and pursue that rather than just getting together for social times, which are valuable, and I'm not saying that you should not do that, but also want to challenge you to take it to the next level. And how does Jesus become a reality in your group, your discussions, and the way you care for each other or need to be cared for? So, that's a quick update on our January small group leaders training. If you have any questions, you can contact me at this number or email, and I'd be happy to chat. Take care, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Vacation that wasn't enjoyable, and our family doesn't really have any conflicts. So,
Who's in your family?
Did your cousin marry one of my cousins? Do you remember the genealogy thing? Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
I have a husband, two boys, and and then I have a huge family on my husband's side, and a big family on my side, and everybody gets along, and we all go on vacations 3 or 4 times a year, and it's just wonderful.